10 things about mental health and creators that I've learned over the years that you probably need to know about. Hi, my name's Pete Johns. This is the Studio Live Today podcast, and I'm taking my own advice and I'm out for a walk while I do the podcast. Is that ill-advised? Probably, but we're going to do it anyway. If you're new around here, head over to studiolivetoday.com. That's going to give you all of the tools that you need to get your best music created in the home studio. Right throughout the month of October also, I'm out walking. I'm going to walk 200 kilometres. I'm doing that for the Black Dog Institute as part of their 1 Foot Forward campaign. And you can donate, petejohns.com/walk. Let's dive in to these 10 topics while I walk here in the Adelaide Parklands. Number 1, everyone starts at zero. I've been saying this for as long as I can remember, since very early days of this channel. If I remember to do so, I'll link a video from about 4 or 5 years ago where I was talking about this topic. Everyone starts at zero, meaning that when you get started, you might feel a bit overwhelmed and you might feel anxious because you're like, I'm not doing the things that everyone else is doing. But guess what? They weren't either. When they were starting out, they were having the same issues. They were learning their digital audio workstations. They were learning how to write songs. They were learning how to be the creators that they are now. So when you're comparing yourself to someone that's had months or years or decades of experience, you're really doing yourself a disservice, because you're going to get there, but not straight away, because everyone starts at zero. We're in a creepy tunnel. Let's go with number 2. Along those same lines, when you don't know where to start, just start. So a lot of people come to me and they say, I'm at a blank. I don't know where to start, Johns. And I'll say, yeah, well, you know what? Sometimes you just got to start. You got to do something. And they're like, but what? Do whatever you want. I like speed thinking. That's a great way to just start. So a speed thinking exercise means taking a word or a topic and just writing down as many ideas that you can about that topic. You'll come up with a bunch of stuff. Start noodling. Do you play an instrument? Guitar, piano, drums? Start noodling and you'll come up with something. So when you don't know where to start, sometimes just the act of sitting down and starting something, or standing up or going for a walk and starting something, can really help out. For the sake of occupational health and safety, I had to switch hands. Number 3, we're talking about chunking down. So this is all related to the whole just starting and doing things. Chunking down means instead of having to do everything all at once, start with a small amount. What's the smallest amount that you can do today that's going to make it feel like that you're pushing forward and you're heading in the right direction? Do that. I know it sounds simple, and it kind of is, but if you chunk down and if you just find something you can do, if you're writing a song, 1 line, 1 riff, 1 chord, I don't care. You're just like, hey, if I get up today and I'm like, I'm writing a song, I'm going to write it in E minor. Guess what? I've started writing a song. So if you're suffering and you're getting really anxious and you're getting really worried because you don't know where to start, try it. What is the smallest amount? Do 5 minutes today. Do me a favor, go do 5 minutes. Number 4 on the list here, phone a friend. We're in this creative community and it can feel very lonely. One of the biggest problems we have with mental health in the world is loneliness, and people feeling isolated, like they're all alone. And I can guarantee you that you are not alone, that there are other people feeling the same way. If you got a friend that's in the creative realm, have a chat to them. If you don't, or you can't think of anyone, join one of the fabulous communities we have around here. We've got Discord servers, we've got Facebook groups. They're all at studiolivetoday.com. There are literally hundreds, thousands of people around the world who are going through the same stuff that you are. Whether you're suffering, with anxiety and depression. I know these are big, deep topics, and we'll say it again at the end, but get professional help if you are really struggling with these things. But sometimes just phoning another friend, another creative person, can really just help realign you and get you back on track. Clearly I need to hire a camera person or, buy a drone or something to follow me around, but let's talk about number 5, and that is to consume. When you can't create, why not consume? You don't always have to be creating, and sometimes listening to music or watching a movie or watching a play or reading a book, all these things can help because they'll give you ideas. If you're trying to do these things as a creator, why not cheat? Go into cheat mode and go and learn from someone else about how they do it, and then you can apply that to your own music and your own art. The amount of times that I've been, you'll know this if you've been around the channel, I love movies, and I've written songs about movies, 100% inspired by the movies that I'm watching. So sometimes if you're not in that creative zone, it's okay. Sometimes you can just consume instead. Just go out there and enjoy what other people are creating. What about number 6? Well, this is do something else. Go for a walk. Yeah, get out there into nature. Go for a walk, go hang out with a friend, go have a coffee, do something different. Go play a video game, I don't mind. Do something that's going to get you away from what you're worried about and what you're stressing about. Because, you know, I always say creating and making music and doing the things we do should be fun. If you're not enjoying it, then you might need to do something else. And that doesn't mean you have to never create again. You don't have to do something else permanently, but maybe at least for a little while you can try something else and just take a little break. Plus, if you walk, I mean, not a particularly lovely day here today, but if you walk, you get out there in nature, you get some exercise. It's a wonderful thing. Number 7, sometimes you need to push out of your comfort zone. You need to do something that maybe you don't do all of the time. By the way, slight side note, but kind of in the same vein, this is an accessible playground here in Adelaide, and it's amazing. They've got heaps of play equipment here, swings for kiddies in wheelchairs. It's amazing. You know, there's people out there that are doing really good work. But what were we talking about? Oh yeah, it's pushing out of your comfort zone, doing things, making a type of song that maybe you've never made before. Have you not rapped before? Why don't you try a rap song? Who knows? You might have wicked flow. Pretty sure what that's the kids are saying these days. Never done a punk song? Maybe your punk song will be rad, bro. Pretty sure that's what the skaters are saying these days. Have you never made a soundtrack or done something instrumental? Maybe you'll be the next Hans Zimmer and they'll be coming at you when they're making the new Batman movie to make their soundtrack. You don't know unless you actually get out there and try these things. So get out of your comfort zone, do something else. Guess what? You know what the worst thing is? You might fail. And who cares? Number 8, you need to stop competing. We mentioned this briefly before, but you need to stop competing with other people. If you're looking at other people and the number of YouTube subscribers or the Spotify followers they have, it's going to build that anxiety, and it's going to make you feel pretty bad because you're comparing yourself with someone else. And guess what? You're not someone else. You're you. You're the best version of you, and you're going to be the best version of you. I've always said this. I've said this a lot of times. I'm not the best Warren Hewitt. I'm not the best Rick Beato, but I'm a pretty darn fine Pete Johns, and that's what I'm going to focus on, is being the best me I can be. So am I going to have 1 million subscribers? Maybe not. Am I going to have 100,000 followers on Spotify? Maybe not. Why though do I need to compete? What good is it going to do? Now don't get me wrong, a little bit of competitive juices flowing. If you want to try and achieve something and you want to set goals, I'm all for that. But how about you make those goals things that are relevant to you and realistic for what you want to achieve? I see too many people, when I ask them, why do you make music? They say, I love music, I want to have fun making music. And then they say, but I'm frustrated because I'm not getting enough listeners. And I say, are you getting more than one listener? Is anyone but you listening to your music? And they're like, oh yeah, people are listening to my music. Well, guess what? You win. It's as simple as that. Because if you're just doing it for fun and you're just doing it so that other people might listen to your music and someone else is being impacted by it and saying, hey, this is rad, this rocks, then guess what? Job done. You don't have to worry from there on. So don't overthink it. Don't overcompete, because you're not in competition with everyone else. You're only in competition with you. And you're not even really that. Number 9, take a breath. Breathing is so important. And for anyone that's struggled with anxiety before, you'll know that one of the first things you're told is control your breathing. And it's so true. Like, there's never been a time where someone's stressed while doing deep breathing. It's almost impossible to do. Yet the first thing that happens is when you start getting stressed, what do? You start breathing more quickly, and then you can do things like hyperventilate, which doesn't help you. If you've had panic attacks, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you start breathing too fast, it's going to end up causing problems. So learning how to take deep breaths, it is the best thing that you can do. That if you're worrying about something, if you're freaking out, and we all go there, we all have moments of freak out, don't worry. Well, don't worry. I'm saying don't worry about worrying. Yeah. In fact, let's give you a bonus one there. Don't worry about worrying. As well as the breathing thing, I'm going to talk about the circle of worry. So have you heard of this? So this is where you have a worry, and then you start worrying, and then you're worrying about how worried you are, and then you're worried about how you're worrying about how worried you are. You've got to stop that stuff. Breathing is the best thing for that, to just stop and then cut it off at the source and say, wait a minute, I actually get to the point sometimes where I've forgotten what I'm worried about. I've forgotten the source. I'm so many levels into the inception that I don't even remember what the original problem was. If you can relate, I'm telling you, breathing, get back to it. And number 10, this one might be controversial to finish off with here, but remember that people don't care about you. What? People don't care about you? Isn't that the opposite of what I want to hear, Johns? No, people don't care about you, and that's wonderful. I was watching an interview the other day, and I forget who it was, but they said, what I like to keep in mind is that there's a few people that really love me, there's hopefully less people that really hate me, and there's billions of people that don't give a damn. That might be a bit flippant, and you might say, isn't that a negative thing to think? And I don't think so. I think it's wonderful, because where a lot of people's fear and anxiety and doubt comes from is the fact that they care what people think. I'm a man standing in the middle of a park here, there's people around, they're looking at me, and what are they going to think? Is anyone going to come up to me and say, I judge you, man, walking around talking into camera? Well, maybe. Do I know those people? Do I care about those people? Nope. Is it going to have any impact on me or them in the future? Are they going to be going home and say, oh my God, I saw the funniest thing today. There was a bloke in a hat and sunglasses, and he was talking to himself while walking through a park. Isn't that hilarious? Even if they are, I won't know and I won't care. So the fact that people don't care about you gives you the ultimate freedom to go out there and do what you want to do, embrace what you want to be, and just do things rather than thinking it through and worrying about what people think. And I wrote a song called We're Trying to Have a Society Here, and in that I said, people caring about what strangers think on the internet is one of the stupidest things going around. And I agree with myself, because that's an easy thing to do. So get out there and do what you want to do. Bonus tip number 11 here, because I mentioned it before and I'm going to say it again. If you are struggling, please seek professional help. There are people out there that are trained and, in all honesty, paid to help you. And I'm not one of them. So I'm going to give you these tips, and hopefully you'll go away and say, oh yeah, I didn't really think about it in that term, and maybe it will help you out. But if you listen to all this and you go, I'm still in absolute despair, please, you can do some quick searches. There's places all around the world. Here in Australia, there's Beyond Blue. There's the Black Dog Institute, who I'm doing the walk for here in October. There are resources out there that are going to help you, so you do not need to suffer alone. Hopefully this has given you something to think about. Maybe there was I like to say with these things, when you see a list of 10 things, if one thing resonates, or maybe 2 or 3, and you get that aha moment, it's not going to change your life, but maybe it's just going to give you a little different perspective that perhaps you hadn't thought of before. Thank you for watching. If you're watching the video version, if you're listening on the audio version, hopefully it's okay. Not too windy today, so hopefully you could hear what we were chatting about here today. If you are watching or listening in the month of October, I'm still walking. I'm over 20 kilometers towards my 200 kilometer goal. That's nearly 125 miles. So if you'd like to support me in doing that, you can go to petejohns.com/walk. And the only thing left to say is if you would like to have a little bit of a relax this week, have a little bit of a breath, maybe do some chunking down, maybe work out what is the least amount you can do to get done, and most importantly, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, keep creating, and I'll see you next time here on the Studio Live Today podcast. I wonder how long he's going to keep doing this.